Good evening and welcome to the City of Cedar Falls Planning and Zoning Commission meeting for this Tuesday, December 22nd, 2020, coming to you via video conference as we have been for a number of months because of the COVID pandemic. I'll ask Ms. Howard to start us off by taking the roll call.
Okay, Hartley is absent today. Holst?
Here.
Larson?
Here.
Lieber?
Here.
Lynch?
Here.
Prideaux?
Here.
Saul?
Here.
Schrod?
Here.
Sears?
Here.
Thank you.
Great, thank you, Karen. First item of business would be the approval of the minutes from our last meeting on December, I don't remember the date.
November 24th.
November 24th, that's right. We skipped our first one. That's been a long time. Is there any corrections or a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second? It's been moved and seconded. All in favor signify by aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
That motion carries. Those minutes are approved. At this point, we would have entertain any public comments, and we can do that via Zoom. If you are a participant and want to raise your hand, let me just check my list here of attendees and see if anybody wants to make a comment on something other than what that's not on the regular agenda for tonight. It's a chance to do that right now. And I am not seeing any takers on that. So we will move on to our regular items of business. And under new business, we have several items tonight. The first is a minor plat for Carolyn Minor Plat. And who is going to introduce that from the staff tonight?
I am.
Okay, Michelle, you are on.
I'm on. All right. So the location, the Carolyn's are proposing a minor plat, and the property is located at 927 and 929 West First Street. The property is north of West Street, and it is west of North College Street. Next. The original plat that created this lot, or part of this lot, was platted in 1857. And as you can tell between the two pictures on the screen, there has been quite a few developments since the original plat was created. Next slide, please. So the minor plat process is very similar of combining the subdivision and final plat process together. And the part that is nice about the minor plat process is that there's no public improvements that need to be done. And in this case, the applicant proposes to take a lot and divide the lot into two lots, which will turn the existing duplex into two attached dwellings. The parcel E, which is on the west side, 929 West Street, the applicant proposes the lot width to be 38 feet, about approximately 112 feet for lot depth, and the size of 7,954 square feet. And then parcel D, which would be 927 West First Street. The lot width would be 35 feet approximately, lot depth at 212 feet, with lot size of 7,607 square feet. The proposal does meet all the requirements for the R2 zoning district. Next slide. In the summary, then, the Community Development Department recommends approval for this case, MP 20-001, Carolyn Minor Plat, with the following stipulations. Any comments or directions specifically by the Planning and Zoning Commission, in conformance to all city staff recommendations and technical requirements. And that is my presentation, so I'm available for questions.
Great. Thank you, Michelle. A couple quick follow-ups. The duplex on the property now, is that a new construction?
Correct.
Yeah.
It was finalized in November 2020, and the construction started last year.
Right. And so that new construction, then the city, I'm sure the building department then has required the separation between the units to meet a proper code, because I know some older duplexes are not necessarily compliant with the separation requirements if it's going to be on separate lots.
Correct.
Yep. Okay. Very good. Commissioners, any questions for Michelle? If not, I will open it to see if any of the participants, attendees tonight would like to comment on this proposal. If so, please raise your hand in on the Zoom, and I will recognize you. I am seeing no takers on that, so I'll bring it back to the commission for a motion or discussion. And this is the first time we review this, but sounds like it's fairly simple, and you're recommending going ahead and approve it tonight. Is that correct, Michelle?
Correct.
Make a motion that we go ahead and approve it, send it to city council.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Is there any other discussion or comments? Seeing none, I'll ask Ms. Howard to take the roll call vote. I think you're muted, Karen.
Sorry about that. Post,
Aye.
Larson,
Aye.
Leeper,
Aye.
Lynch,
Aye.
Purdue,
Aye.
Saul,
Aye.
Schrod,
Aye.
Sears.
Aye.
So that
Thank you.
passes, and will that go directly on to city council, I'm guessing?
Yes, it will go on to city council at the next available meeting.
Okay. All right. Our second item of business is the final plat for the Arbor's 4th edition. And who's introducing that today?
That is me as well.
All right, Michelle, thank you.
The Harbor's 4th edition is located north of Viking Road and west of Arbor's Drive. The preliminary plat was originally started in 2014, and the applicant had built the first through the 3rd editions as proposed by the original preliminary approval. And the property owner came into the city this year to revise the approval to add more by attached buildings. And that was revised and approved from the city council in May of 2020. And the revision included reorganizing how the street system worked, as well as adding 38 lots to the proposal. The next slide, please. So during the preliminary plat approval, City Council and the Planning and Zoning Commission looked at the stormwater, and the stormwater management is going to be a basin on track A, and there's also easements along each of the rear of the lots to deal with stormwater. And then the street connections as proposed were to extend the Arbors Ridge Road and Maple Grove Road and connect those roads to Fernwood Drive. The preliminary approval was for 33 lots for single family and by attached dwellings. Next slide, please. And as given from the applicant, the final plat does conform to the original preliminary, the preliminary approval that was approved in May of 2020. The stormwater indeed goes to tract A, and there's easements as shown on the final plat for the stormwater. And there is a road that was built of extending Arbor Ridge Road and Maple Grove Road and connect that to Funward Drive. And lots include lots for 33 lots for single family and by attached dwellings. The preliminary approval included a pedestrian access between lots 14 and 15 to provide access for the subdivision to a proposed city lot park. And we realized that this access needs to be switched to the east to provide direct access to that proposed park. And staff is in the process of working with the developer to make sure that this gets amended, and it will be, staff predicts that we'll have that amended at your next meeting. The next slide. So in this application, staff is recommending to gather all the comments and be able to discuss this on their January 13th, 2021 meeting. And I'm available for any questions.
Great, thank you, Michelle. So this is a discussion item only for tonight, just review and discuss with the intention of taking final action on the 13th. Any questions from, or any participants who would like to comment on this, please raise your hand to be recognized. Okay, Kevin, I'm gonna try to get you in here. You there, Kevin? If you unmute yourself, you should be able to talk.
Yep, you got me?
Yeah, we got you. Go ahead, Kevin.
Okay. Yep, no, I just wanted to let you know, I talked to Karen here this afternoon as they realized that there was an issue with the location. So we originally had that access in the change of preliminary. We had a street that if the city parks wanted, it was available to go north. When that left, we originally had an easement on lots 13 and 14 that was designed to get equipment into that tract A in order to do maintenance in that detention area if needed. My understanding, and Nick from CGA is on as well if there's anything, but the city actually asked us to move it over when we removed that street extension. So the location is actually where we went to per the city. We've gotten through the plans, gotten to this point, and found out now we want to go further east. We did review, we've got all the improvements in, utilities are in, everything's in. So now it's kind of how do we do this and make it work? What we would be proposing to Karen and staff is that we move it over to 16 and 17 because there is not a transformer there. We're out of the utilities ways. We would move it over, but in moving a 20-foot easement, 10-foot shared on, I think it's lot 17, is currently a 70-foot lot. So it's not a great lot to then ask to have an additional 5 foot of an easement on it. So our intention, if approved with the city, will be to move it to 16, 17, but we will change the lot sizes from a 70 and an 80 to 275s so that we can give 5 foot more space for a good buildable home on lot 17.
Great. That sounds like a workable solution.
Yep.
Anyone else who would attending who would like to comment, please raise your hand and I will recognize you. Seeing none, I'll bring it back to the commission for questions and discussion. And so this was just a discussion item for tonight. So try to get your questions answered, bring up anything, and we will allow them to come back at the next meeting and hopefully take some final action.
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead, Leanne.
Why is this coming up now? Why is this moving this easement just coming up now? Why wasn't that discovered before?
So I think I can answer that question. Michelle wasn't around at that time. and I wasn't around when there used to be a street. Originally, there was a street shown here, and I think that was probably the location of probably that original street with the preliminary plat. And then when the Arbor School was put in and there was a park there, we agreed to eliminate that street connection, but keep a pedestrian access up to the park space. And I think there was a lot of just moving parts here with the preliminary plat. It's just outside the line. There's a farm field, actually. The park doesn't extend the entire northern boundary of the
Right.
property here. So it's actually just on the other side of that line. So the
Okay.
access easement is supposed to go to the park, but it actually just goes to the farm field. So it just needs to shift, or, you know, and we just didn't recognize that until we actually have the lot lines. And so,
Okay.
you know, we apologize for the late notice, but it's nice that we noticed it now before we had an access easement that didn't actually access the park. So
Just
we're
missing
appreciative
that.
of the developer working with us on that so we can get that right.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions or comments? So this really hasn't, I mean, it's other than the easement, pretty straightforward and pretty much is dead on to what we looked at in the preliminary plat, right?
We believe that, you know, all the infrastructure is in according to engineering. They are working through the final issues, wording of the maintenance and repair agreement for the infrastructure. So we'd anticipate that once this is ready to go to council, that everything will go smoothly.
Great. Well, commissioners, any other questions, comments? If none, we will move this on to the next meeting. All right. Move on to item 4, which is the final plat for Pinnacle Prairie Commercial South Phase 3, second edition. And who's introducing that one tonight?
That would be me, Mr. Holtz. Thank you.
Thanks, JD. Go ahead.
So this is the third item for the day. This is Pinnacle Prairie Commercial South Phase 3, second edition, final plat. This is located next to Prairie Parkway and south of Bluegrass Circle. The highlighted red color is the boundary that will be final platted, this is the proposal from the applicant. Just a bit of background for everybody. As you see on the image, the entire red color highlighted area was preliminary platted in year 2015. And this is part of Pinnacle Prairie Master Plan as well. These are two things to note. During the preliminary plat approved in 2015, this was 7 lots in different areas. So over the time, the development has taken place in this edition with 2 final plat and site plan already approved. Lot 1, which we are seeing as Unity Point Clinic, and Lot 2 as Care Initiatives. So those 2 are the only lots developed so far in this area. The proposal will be the third lot to be developed in this area, which would include Lot 6 and Track C of the preliminary plat approved in 2015. Staff notes that Lot 3, 4, 5, 6, 3, 4, 5, and 7 will be still pending, and the final plat is still to be approved by the council, the Planning and Zoning and City Council, and that will be done when there will be more further development in this area. So this is like the bit of background for everybody. As I mentioned, this is part of Pinnacle Prairie Master Plan. So and it is zone MU, mixed use, which offers variety of uses in the area, including residential, commercial, mixed use, recreational, etc. And it does match the surroundings of the surrounding context of the site. So moving on, this is the exact the boundary of final plat. As I said, it includes lot 6 and track C. In total, this is about 11.9 acres, with lot 6 being around 5.5 acre and track C being 6.5 acre. The proposal from the applicant is lot 6 will be developed for a senior living facility, and that is the idea. And track C will be retained for floodplain, wetland, and drainage easement for the entire area. Moving on, as I mentioned, these are the two different proposals. For track C, the point needs to be noted by the commission and people viewing this is there are easements to have stormwater and drainage easement. There is also a track area which is reserved for wetland preservation and floodplain dedication. So all these three activities will be going in. The other important thing to note here is there is a public trail, Pinnacle Prairie Trail, 10 feet wide public trail that is also going through this track C, just right at the border, the southeastern border of lot 6. So that will be an addition to be done with the development in lot 6. And the applicant will also be proposing a sidewalk connection that connects from the existing trail towards the Green Creek Road, the roundabout here. So those are the two public improvements that will be done with this final plat. And I think we'll be seeing more details in the next case where we'll be reviewing site plan in greater detail for lot 6. There are some technical comments regarding the stormwater. I think there is a private storm sewer network will be established for the development on site, and it would collect and convey stormwater into existing Green Hill Road detention facility that was previously established. Similarly, for sanitary sewer, a private storm sewer network will be established on site to collect and convey to proposed sanitary network located on southeastern boundary. So there are already existing sanitary collection points on the southeastern boundary of lot 6. There are two items that the city is currently being verified and resolving with the applicant. One is confirming the stormwater maintenance and repair agreement. City staff is currently working with this with the applicant. I think there is already an established maintenance repair agreement with previous development in this area. So staff is just rechecking whether this is a benefited property and not, and everything is being currently worked out. The second thing is there are some technical errors regarding platting of lot lines in this final plat that we saw, and city staff is working with the applicant on this revision. I think the revisions will be made prior to the second review at planning and zoning. So, and the other thing, as we discussed prior, this is part of Pinnacle Prairie master plan, and with there is a compliance with previous development procedure agreement that has not been met yet. So city staff proposed two different two options to move forward. Is like there was a pending construction of landscaping amenities in the Prairie Parkway, Prairie View Road roundabout as per agreement in 2015. City staff recommends providing a cash escrow for estimated cost of development, or the developer of senior living facility enter into an agreement with city prior to approval of this final plat and complete the improvements prior to issuance of occupancy permit of the proposed senior living facility. So these are two options. As you see, it has been a long time and no improvements has been done so far. So this is one of the things that will have to weigh in. At this point of time, the Community Development Department recommends initial review and discussion of this case and collect any comments. We'll be reviewing this in a additional upcoming meeting once we receive all the revised documents from the applicant. Also, just so we know, the hard copies of the final plat legal documents are yet to be received, and that will be coming in before we take this to the council. So that is something everybody should note. And we have the applicant online available to answer any questions if anybody has a question too. So I am stop sharing my screen. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, JD. So this is an item tonight for review and discussion, and then voting would take place at a future meeting.
Yep.
I will check the attendees here to see if anybody would like to make a comment on this final plat from our attendees. Please raise your hand there. Okay, Nick, I'm going to allow you to talk. If you unmute yourself, you should be able to speak.
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, you're there, Nick.
Thank you, JD, for going over that. I'm Nick Bettis with Action Consultants, 60 East Court Street, Iowa City, Iowa, 52240. As JD mentioned, there was a couple technical concerns there with the agreement, and then some survey questions. And our surveyor and the applicant have been working with the city, as JD mentioned. So those should be resolved here shortly. And if there's any additional questions on the final plat, I'll try to answer them as best as I can.
Great. Commissioners, any questions for Nick regarding the plat? I don't think there's anything, Nick. We appreciate your comments.
Thank you.
Anyone else who would like to comment, please raise your hand and I'll recognize you. Seeing none, I'm going to bring it back to the commission for questions and comments. Anything from commissioners?
I have a question. What are those Prairie Parkway improvements that they were talking about that we need an agreement on?
This was a landscaping requirement in the roundabout that is currently existing. And I think this was part of 2015 agreement when this was when the development procedure agreement was established, and they were about to be completed in 2016, and it is still not done. So I think the city staff is just wanting to resolve that and make that happen as promised earlier and move forward. So yeah.
So the question that I have is, so this one lot, this one developer has to do the improvements in the roundabout?
No, let me, I'll clarify that a little bit. That's the original developer, the owner, so Oster, who's the larger developer of Pinnacle Prairie. That was the agreement back in 2015. So we're just looking to resolve that and get that taken care of. And we did have some further discussion this afternoon, actually, and come to an agreement on an escrow amount for the improvements. So the improvements in the roundabout, the agreement would be for $40,000 from Mr. Oster. And then the city will basically triple that amount to get those improvements done as a city project then. And we'll draw down that escrow when the city does the project. And then the Goldenrod Street stub, there was an agreement to end that street at that location, but they just need to make the improvements to finish that off in a logical fashion. So they're working on the design for that, and they'd anticipate having that done then next spring when they can do some planting and some reconstruction of that intersection. So we anticipate that they'll resolve these issues soon.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Dale.
Does that wetland area, does that connect all the way down to Green Hill Road then with the other wetland area being set aside?
I think it just connects upward towards Green Hill. Yes, I think you're right. That wetland area does include some of the northern part as well, which is not platted in this, but yes.
That is correct.
Other questions, comments? It's a review and discussion item. So is the intention, JD, that this will be ready for the January 13th meeting?
Yes, as soon as we get the documents, I think Nick mentioned that we'll be having that shortly, and I think the staff issues will be resolved by then too. So we'll try to get there, but not sure.
Don't know for sure. Yeah. All right. Any other questions or comments from commission? Seeing none, I guess we can move on to our next item of business, and we will await the return on this final plat.
Yes.
Okay, so the next item is a site plan for. Oh, I lost my. Hold on a second. Lost my agenda. There we go. So the next item is a site plan for the Pinnacle Prairie Senior Living Facility. It would be on this same property we're just looking at a plat for. And JD, are you again
Yes.
going to introduce this one? All right, you are on.
Thank you, Mr. Host. Yes, as this is the site plan proposal for a senior living facility for Pinnacle Prairie on the lot 6 of the final plat that we saw. The highlighted plat is highlighted area in red is where the site is. The approximate area of the site is about 5.5 acres. This is the site plan that we are looking at. The red boundary is the site boundary just bit brief about the site plan is the track C will be again maintained for wetland, floodplain, and drainage easement, which is on the southeastern boundary of this red line. And this lot will be accommodating a senior living facility, and the facility will be accessed through an internal two-way drive with 2 access points from Prairie Parkway. As talked earlier, this site is in MU zoning district, which allows variety of uses, including residential, commercial, mixed use, and recreational uses. So the alignment of the proposed use is in compliance with the zoning code. At the same time, this also falls within Pinnacle Prairie master plan, the entire master plan, and this area has been reserved for the mixed use in that master plan too, with two defined access from Prairie Parkway. I think the site plan fits right in there, aligns with the master plan as well. Moving on, before we get to the details of the about for the senior living facility, because this is part of the Pinnacle Prairie master plan, this has to also comply by Pinnacle Prairie design guidelines for all the architectural features, the signage, the landscaping, everything needs to meet the design standard for Pinnacle Prairie as well. The applicant has been reviewing this. I think until now, everything looks okay with the design committee there too. and they are currently reviewing just the landscaping section, which almost looks resolved, but we'll have more updates from the applicant after they are done reviewing. But today we'll be reviewing the MU zoning standards, which falls in the zoning code. The proposed height of the building varies from 24 to 40 feet. The center area is the commons area, which is low in height, which varies from 1 to 2 story. The memory care unit along the east side is basically about one story tall. And then the assisted living side, which is the western part of the building, which will be about 3 story high. So that's it. That is how the heights vary in this proposed building. For the setback, 25 feet perimeter setback is applicable, is required here. The proposed height of the building is 40 feet. And there is also a 20 feet perimeter setback for parking areas. I think both those setbacks are satisfied with the proposal. The proposed setback from the north lot line is about 59 feet. From the west lot line is about 27 feet. The south lot line is 55 and east is 57 feet. MU district does allow taller buildings with greater setbacks. In this case, the proposal is 5 feet than the required 35 feet in this district. And for every 1 feet of additional height, 1 feet of additional perimeter setback is applicable. And I think the applicant has satisfied those requirements with the proposal. Moving on, as I mentioned, there are 2 vehicular accesses along Prairie Parkway highlighted in the arrows red. The site will be accessed through an internal driveway, which is the yellow highlighted section. Apart from it, there are the blue arrows that you see are the pedestrian connections or pedestrian access points to the site. So there are 3 along Prairie Parkway and 1 along the northern edge of the property, which will be connecting the existing Pinnacle Prairie 10 feet wide trail. So great pedestrian connections and a vehicular connection. Once again, the connections are in line with the Pinnacle Prairie master plan. And it's operated 2-way. So those are the 2 things to note. Another additional thing with this development will be the developer and the applicant will be adding 5 feet wide public sidewalk along Prairie Parkway, which is the green dotted line. And I think that would extend from up to the Green Creek Road roundabout. So that, and the second thing would be extension of Pinnacle Prairie 10 feet wide trail, which is highlighted in the blue color. So currently the trail ends at the northeastern point of the site. And from there will be this another connection established as well. And this is also laid out in the master plan. So everything is in accordance with the master plan and the applicant is abiding by. Moving on to the landscaping plan. The lot area is about 241,000 square feet. And the plan shows about 48.5% of open space, where the required is only 24,000 square feet. So we have more open space than required building footprint. The landscaping points, the minimum required landscaping points for this site is 5,352, whereas the proposed landscaping plan shows about 6,640 points, which is over the required. Plan does include mixture of trees, shrubs, evergreen and conifers about 6 to 10 feet in height. In addition to it, street trees are proposed, and parking lot trees and screening shrubs are also proposed to screen all the parking areas. As you may see, all the parking areas are are screened with the shrubs and trees as mentioned by the applicant. So none of the vehicles would be visible from the neighboring properties. And the other thing is the eastern section, which is the eastern part of the site, will be planted with prairie grass, whereas the western, which is next to the Prairie Parkway, and the northern edge will be having grasses. As you see, the building is quite nicely proposed and balanced with courtyards. And so they have like northern courtyard with a patio feature here. They have a central courtyard in the memory care unit section to provide daylight. And there is a western courtyard between the assisted living facility where there will be some ornamental trees will be proposed as well. The entrance is on the south side of the building, wherein there is shrubs and ornamental trees as well. So a couple of good landscaping features on the site. Regarding utilities, the site will be equipped with the storm sewer network. Both inlets are I highlighted in the circle, and the outlets are highlighted in circle as well. So these are some of the collection points, and those all will be leading to the detention facility to the east of the proposed plat. Note that there is a stormwater and sewer easement that is already in place to preserve that, and the light blue line is the water line, which will be available on the site for the facility to be used. So the utilities are well in shape for the site. Moving on, the proposed use is about 109 unit retirement building. With this, the zoning code requires about 77 parking stalls, and the proposed parking is 93 stalls, including 5 ADA stalls. So they are providing more than required parking for this facility. The good thing is all the ADA stalls are located next to the entranceway, so that it's easy for them to access the site. Apart from the parking, there are also a few bike parking areas, one in the entrance along the building, and then one next to the northern part of the parking area. So there are 2 bike parking areas as well, allowing bikers to be part of this lovely site as well. Moving on, as I mentioned, there are 3 different categories or 3 different sections of this whole building. One is the assisted living facility, which will be on the west side, which will have 49 assisted living units, 27 carefree units, and 1 guest unit. The central one is the commons area, which is again about one story to 2-story high. And the eastern wing is the memory care unit, which will have about 32 memory care units with a center courtyard. So that's basically the highlight of the building. About elevation and the facade elements, I think the proportion building, let me step back. I think the first picture on the left shows the front entry and the commons area with an enhanced canopy structure, which will be like a drive-in canopy. And as I mentioned, the story is about 1 to 2 story high. The second picture below, it shows the image of the northern courtyard, which is the northern part of the building. Regarding the proportion, I think the building height complements with the surrounding dwelling units, and have architecture features like ribbon windows, double and triple wide windows. the roof shape and the pitch is both. They have multiple direction pitch roofs, including flat roof with overhang. So there is a blend of both flat roof and pitch roof in this entire development. One of the architecture features about the pattern on a building, and the pattern of the building is harmonious pattern with recessed entries, combination of horizontal and vertical lines through different materials. I think that is visible throughout the building. The assisted living facility is on the top left image, and the bottom image is about the memory care wing to the eastern part of the proposed building. As you may see in this elevation pictures, is the materials are really the color of the proposed building is more of brown and wooden and ivory tones. The materials used in this proposed building are really high standard fiber cement sidings, manufactured stones, and about horizontal and vertical fiber cement panels. Note the complement between the stone facade and the fiber cement facade is really distinctive, and it creates a nice balance of two different materials in the proposal. And the entire architecture feature is more of prairie style architecture with exposed rafters, lintel stone bends, and window shades for the facility. Moving to the site lighting part, I think the yellow highlighted areas in circle is where the lightings will be proposed in, which is about 18, which will be about 18 feet to 20 feet tall LED luminaires. Just to enhance the driveway as well as the parking area, about 3 feet tall pathway lights are also proposed in the where the public sidewalks are. All the sidewalk which will be leading will have pathway lights to it. All the lights are downcast, and that they won't be projecting over the property line. Other elements includes the dumpster enclosure, which is placed in the northern part of the site, and a monument sign that will be proposed on the southern entrance area of the site. These are a few details of the proposed monument sign and the dumpster and generator screening. So the dumpster and generator screening will be about 10 feet tall closure with composite deck boards, and the sign will be 5 feet tall and 10 square feet in area, which is all as per the required zoning standards. At this point of time, the Community Development Department recommends review and discussion of the site plan. As we know, the site plan cannot be approved prior to the approval of final plat. So that is just for the reference. The project architect, applicant, and engineer will be attending the meeting and will be available to answer any questions the commission has or any public has, and to allow additional time to resolve the technical issues of the final plat. Additional public review and discussion will be required for this one. Staff recommends continuing this discussion to the next meeting or a next available meeting. Thank you, everyone.
Great. Well, thank you, JD. So this is a discussion item for tonight, a review and discussion. I will go to our attendees list and see, is there anyone would like to comment on this? Please raise your hand and I will recognize you. And I am not seeing anybody jumping in to make comments. I'll bring it back to the commission for questions and comments. Any questions, comments, thoughts?
I was noticing on the one plot that they showed the stormwater inlets and outlets, that one of the outlets was on the left-hand side of the trails. Shouldn't that go underneath the trail so it doesn't run across the trail?
Yes, I think that is correct, and it will be going through underneath the trail. Yeah, and I think the easements are reserved in order to maintain and protect that. So yes.
I think another thing is, Karen, you did send out late afternoon, I think a couple letters you received. I haven't had a chance to, I only had a chance to glance at them before the meeting, but I think there was a couple of neighbors did send letters with some expressing some concerns.
Yeah, and we can go ahead and send those letters again in your next packet, so you'll have, plenty of time to read them. We wanted to forward them as soon as we received them.
Yeah, so there was some questions or concerns then brought up by a couple people.
Has there ever been any kind of traffic study that would be done in that area just for the way that it is going in and out of Prairie Parkway with that median in the middle and not having access to being able to turn towards the Walmart area or towards that roundabout?
So this was all studied at the time that was originally designed, and Prairie Parkway was designed with the median to control the traffic. And so this was even noted in the master plan. It was noted specifically this lot would only have right in, right out access. So it was anticipated to be in this way in order to control the traffic appropriately.
Thank you.
Karen, does it meet the requirements for visibility, distance from intersections? There were some concerns in the letters about kind of visibility from the northern road.
We can certainly get more details for you on that, but I just would note that it was studied at the time the master plan was approved, but of course, a lot of the details weren't known at that particular time. And so, certainly we can bring back more information from the city engineer about that question.
Yeah, that would probably be a primary item of concern.
Right. I mean, the city engineers did review the plat and reviewed the site plan as well and didn't note any concerns, but we certainly can highlight that and ask them again for more details.
Well, and I'm guessing, I mean, the fact that this site only has right in, right out is in order to reduce that crossing the cross traffic and, not creating a problem with that, so.
Right.
So any questions, other questions, thoughts on this item? Seeing none, I think we'll go ahead and close the discussion on this and wait for it to come back for and this portion has to be the plat has to be finalized before this can be finalized, correct, in terms of just procedural things. So we will await update at the next or future meeting. All right. Oh, let's get my. Oops, sorry. Keep losing my agenda.
I believe we have election of officers next.
Yeah,
Nomination and election of officers.
Here it is. Yes, thank you. That's the end of our regular business, and we do have to address the election of officers. So we have a nominating committee of Amanda and Dale to give us a report on their and make a nomination for chair and vice chair for the 2021 Planning and Zoning Commission. So I'll turn it over to the two of you. One of you serving as spokesperson.
I turned that over to Amanda. She's
all right, Amanda, you're the spokesperson.
All right. So we have been, thank you for the opportunity to be able to provide nominations. For chair, would like to nominate Brad Leeper as the chair for 2021 and 2022. And then for vice chair, Kyle Larson.
I think we only, the nominations only for 1 year.
Oh, it is for 1 year. Well, I apologize. 2021 then.
Yeah.
Well then, Marty, how come you've been on it so long?
They just can't get rid of me.
Fair enough. 2021. I apologize. Please forgive me.
All right. So we have a nomination of Brad for chair and Kyle for vice chair. Is there any other nominations from the floor? Seeing none, I think we can do this with a voice vote. All those in favor of Brad for chair and Kyle for vice chair, please signify by aye.
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 And all those opposed, the same sign. I'm seeing no opposition. It looks like congratulations are in order, Brad and Kyle. It's in your hands this next year.
Happy to serve. Thanks.
Thanks for being willing to do that.
What are your plans, Marty?
I'm going to have a drink. No, really. No, I've enjoyed serving, so, but I'll still be around. So you have to put up with my annoyance regardless, I guess. So that concludes all of our business for tonight. Is there any commission updates, Karen?
Yeah, I just wanted to give you a little update. I know we had a work session back at the beginning of November, I believe it was. Losing track of time, regarding the update to the downtown zoning ordinance. We've been working through the final version, the staff review version of that code, and we realized we're going to need a little extra time. And so we would anticipate moving that timeline about a month. So instead of having all the meetings that we had anticipated in January, probably the rollout is going to be more like the beginning of February, and then everything would be shifted accordingly. Now, I will be coming up with a more definitive schedule, and I'll be emailing all of you with that schedule so that you can check your calendars and make sure that it works out for all of you. And let me know if you have any concerns about that. So
great. Thanks for the update. Yeah, it's a big undertaking, so I can understand why might need a little more time to get ready.
Right. Yeah, we've got that, and we've got the College Hill Vision Plan coming your way, and the resilience plan. So there's a lot going on. So we appreciate the time and effort that you guys are going to spend on these important planning efforts.
Great.
Can I make a comment? If you haven't done the resiliency workshop, I think today it ends, right? So if you still haven't.
Oh.
For the first worksheet, yes, there's one worksheet, and then they're going to open up a second worksheet and then a third worksheet. So they kind of build on each other. So yes, please take the time to go in and complete those if you haven't done so already.
Yeah, thanks, Leanne. Good point.
So tonight's the night for worksheet 1 if you haven't done it.
All right.
Great. Thank you for mentioning that, Leanne.
All right. Well, thanks, Karen, for the updates. So I think it takes care of all of our business for tonight. I entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor signify by aye.
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 We are adjourned. Thank you, everybody, for all your good work tonight.
Happy holidays.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Happy holidays.
Merry Christmas, everyone.